there is a period of time when you start on a goal, it could be any goal, and you give yourself like, oh, hey, I want to do this thing. So you start on this goal, and there is a period of time, could be long, could be short, but whatever it is, there's some time when you're taking action, but nothing is happening. And there's a lot of different instances where this comes into play. It could be one of the big ones is if you start your own business or if you're a content creator. There's a time period where you start making videos or you start maybe writing a blog or doing TikTok, Instagram, trying to build your social media where you're doing videos, you're doing content, but nothing is happening. Crickets. Your mom and your grandma hit like, your sister puts a comment on it, and it seems like nobody else is listening. And so this video is about why you should keep going even though nobody or maybe just a few people are paying attention. So this anecdote that I'm going to tell you all comes from the book Flow. This is an awesome book, and I'll probably make a whole nother video about this book. It's written by a Hungarian-American psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And in this book, he tells this great story. It's going to really inspire you, so hear me out. Stay till the end and hit the like button if you like this topic. So, in this book, Mihaly talks about an astrophysicist. He came from India to the United States to study astrophysics. And he was working at the University of Chicago. So at this time, this was in the 1950s when this story happened. At this time, this guy, because he's an astrophysicist, he goes to like work at a special telescope. There's a special telescope. It's like 100 miles away somewhere in Wisconsin, right? So he's working at the University of Chicago. He goes up to this telescope to do some research. When you're a professor or like a researcher like he is, you have to teach a class. They require you to teach classes to keep like your scholarship money and things like that. So he signs up to teach a class, but unfortunately only 2 students like enroll in the class. So this guy is in, northern Wisconsin. He's like 100 miles away from the University of Chicago where he's supposed to be teaching. And he figures since only 2 students enroll in the class, that they're probably going to cancel it. He finds out that that's not the case. Like in order to keep like his scholarship money and his residency, because he's from India, in order to stay in the United States and keep his grant money coming and be able to stay doing his research at the university, they require him to teach this class. So that means that twice a week he drives down the back roads in the cold. This is in Chicago and Illinois and Wisconsin, like in the winter. He's driving down these back roads back and forth to the University of Chicago from this telescope where he's at in Wisconsin. And he does this faithfully for like 4 or 5 months in the fall and the winter semester. So that means November, December, all these cold roads, he's driving back and forth to go sit in a classroom and teach 2 students. The interesting thing about this person, I'll put it's an Indian name. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I'll put it down below and you can research this guy for yourself. But the interesting thing about this is that even though he was driving back and forth 100 miles, each way to teach a class with 2 students, within a few years after he finishes teaching the class, one of the students won a Nobel Prize for research in physics. And even that's powerful enough, right? So that's like, dang, even though he was driving all this long way, it was the 1950s. This is before the interstate system and things like that, just these back roads, farms and stuff like that, in the snow and blizzards and all this stuff. He's driving back and forth. One of the students wins the Nobel Prize, and then within a few years later, the other student. Both of these 2 students that were in this class end up winning a Nobel Prize or being awarded a Nobel Prize for their work that they got while working with this astrophysicist. This was in the 1950s, as I said, and then in 1983, just to top it all off, this guy ends up also being awarded the Nobel Prize for his research in astrophysics. And like I said, I will put his name down below, so definitely research this guy. And if you are a reader, I really recommend that you read the book Flow. All that to say is that sometimes you make a video and maybe you get 10 views or 20 views or 100 views. Or sometimes you, like when I was blogging and I'll start blogging again, I write a blog post and it might just sit there for weeks or months. And then maybe it blows up later. Well, this has happened to me in my YouTube career. This has happened to me in a lot of times when I was making content, when I had a business and I'm going back into business. But it takes a while when you're driving all those long roads, 100 miles each way in a blizzard in Wisconsin in the winter, and you just show up and you're only speaking to two people. But you never know who you're actually talking to, and you never know how you will impact other people, even if it's just a couple dozen people or a couple hundred people. So this video was just reminding you guys, I'm not trying to be like a motivational speaker or rah, 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 but what I am saying is that no matter who you are, what you're doing, probably if you're watching this video, there is something on your heart that you want to share with other people. It could be music. Some of y'all write spoken word poetry. I don't even know. It's probably music, content, making videos. Maybe you want to write a book or a play or a movie or something, or you have a business that you want to do, a fitness, you want to be a fitness trainer, you want to be a barber, whatever. There is a gift that you have, because that's just my belief. That's actually my belief in general, is that everybody has a gift that God has given you, and he wants you to give that to the world, but it's just a matter of like, are you going to use it or not? Are you going to give that gift to other people and allow yourself to be a vessel for whatever your higher purpose is? Anyway, like I said, look this guy up. I'm not even going to try to say the name. I swear, the name is like 20 letters long. The first name and the last name is both 20 letters, and the person is Indian, so I'm not even qualified to try to say his name, but it's a really fascinating and inspiring story to me, because when I read that, I was like, yo, that's exactly what I needed to hear. Even if you're only speaking to, and at this point, just because I've been making videos for so long, like if I produce a video, drop a video, it'll get 100 views, which maybe that seems like a little bit or a lot depending, but I see videos all the time on YouTube where it's only 6 or 8 or 7 views. So even if you just keep going, you'll have this, bro, y'all know that this dog would not be behind me if this camera wasn't set up. My biggest hater, my own dog. All right, listen, keep going. Even if you think nobody's watching, even if you think not enough people are watching, if you have something to say, make sure that you go ahead and get it out there. And I personally believe that you'll just have more opportunities to touch more people. And even if it is just like one person or a handful of people that you're impacting, it's worth it. Thank you to everybody who also like left comments, like you're glad to see me back, you're looking for my blog and things like that. That also helps me know, like, bro, even though I might be a small YouTuber or a small blogger, the things that I produce and put out into the world affect people and help people. So it's good to know that. So thanks for everybody who's commented. Hit the like button, subscribe, wait for the next one. It'll be a couple of days. I'll drop another one for y'all. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.